This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15. And I will put enmity or hatred between thee, which is the serpent, which is these so-called self-proclaimed white people, and the woman, which is the nation of Israel. And between thy seed and her seed, it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And first and foremost, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening, learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. I hope and pray that this lesson be edifying, as always, to the elect. So for any of you jakes out there that come across these videos, are you not convinced that you have enemies and that your top enemy, as pursuing to Psalms the 83rd chapter, is Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, the Caucasian race, the cave dwellers, the knuckle draggers, right? The ones that we live rent-free in their head, you know? The ones that are so base, so inferior, that they have to tell themselves that they're superior. The pathetic nation. So let's get a example of this enmity. Let's get that definition really quick. Enmity is a deep-seated, often mutual feeling of intense hatred, ill will, or active hostility. So if you Israelites that are new to this, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, if you ever wondered why there's this mutual feeling of intense hatred, right, between us and the so-called white people in particular, it's all biblical, man. That's that enmity that the Lord set up between us, right? And as some of these Christians might come on, God doesn't hate, and God this, that, he's all love. Well, let's see what the Lord said. Is it Romans 9? I'll go straight to the point so we can get to the video. Romans 9. And I'll start at 12. I'll start at 11. Because the story, I'll start at 10. So the story with in Genesis with Rebecca and Isaac, Rebecca was found with twins in her womb, and the twins that were in her womb were Jacob and Esau. For any new listeners, this is like more of a kind of like a back to the basics type of lesson, So it says Romans 9, and I'll start at 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done evil, good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. Right? So the Lord set it up this way. And it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. Right? So this deep-seated hatred that Esau has, these self-proclaimed white people, because they know in their spirit, one, they know that they're inferior to us. No matter what they do to Jake, we still outshine them. We even though we're disenfranchised, and like you have the fighting game, and like Mortal Kombat or something, and they put their handicap, Esau puts their handicap instead of at 100% health on the health bar, they got it at 150%. And Jake will be at 50%. They'll take it down so Jake's severely disadvantaged and still come back and whoop Esau's ass, man. Musically, in a lot of ways financially, because you got these two-time loser-ass Edomites, the majority of the drug addicts, that are on all these heavy drugs and everything, is Esau, man. The Edomite men, their wives are leaving them, talking shit about them, having micro P's and all that type shit that they're talking about, and going with Jake, man. So there's this intense hatred that these devils have against you Israelites, because honestly they're mad that they ain't us, and that their forefather fumbled the blessing, man, because he was impatient, just like these devils are. It's my money and I want it now, just do it. YOLO, you only live once. That's the same attitude that their forefather Esau had when he came out from hunting, and our forefather Jacob was cooking, and Esau had no patience, and he's like, feed me, of this pottage, because I'm about to perish. Basically what he was saying, just being dramatic, just like these devils are now. They have no goddamn patience. Everything is instant gratification, and now they're mad because they lose, and they're losing now, and everybody's seeing it. So it says 12th verse, it was said unto her, the eldest shall serve the younger. Right? So the eldest shall be a slave to the younger. And when you read the story in Genesis, the 25th chapter, right around 25-ish, it says the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And that first child that came out was Esau. And as it says here, the elder, Esau, shall serve the younger. And this is the point. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, but Esau, right, self-proclaimed white people, have I hated. This is what the Lord said in the Bible. 14th verse, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So these devils are just butthurt because they wasn't chosen. And even though they did all this evil to us, our people, and they can't figure out how to basically do away with us. They're just, we live rent free in their head, man. Exhibit A.
I hear you. So hey boo, I just had a thought. One of the reasons white people hate black people is because,
and you could just replace that with Jake. They focus on so-called black people the most, the tribe of Judah, but it's all the tribes. I mean, that's why the whole thing with ICE is going on, and even Levi, so-called Haitians and everything. These devils hate our whole nation, the 12 tribes. So I just wanted to establish that.
We cannot tolerate black joy. We cannot tolerate black intelligence. We cannot tolerate black beauty. We cannot tolerate black confidence. We cannot tolerate black camaraderie. We cannot tolerate anything that frees a black person, there's a level of racism that I think hits differently for black people than it does for Asian people or Hispanic people or Middle Eastern people or Native Americans even.
And as the scriptures say, that wicked shall be revealed. And notice, right under the circle right here, the number right there. And his number was 603, man. It's the devil, man. These are the devils that the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi are revealing right before our very eyes. And as the scriptures say, their own tongue shall fall upon themselves, man. So their own tongue is condemning them. Their hatred is so intense that they can't even help themselves. Here it is. You got the whole world in your hands, as the script, as the scriptures say, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. But as the song goes, and yet you can't even go to a damn barbecue or a family gathering or have a damn TikTok or IG, without having Jake always in your mind, man. As much as we can't stand you devils, you self-proclaimed white people, we don't be thinking about you devils all the time. We really don't. We have the ability to endure suffering, and most importantly, us hopeful elect, we have Yahawah and Yahawashi, man. We have the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son to comfort us, because Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls JC, He said He would not leave us comfortless, man. So as we are down here behind enemy lines, we can still have hope. We can still have joy. We can still find camaraderie, as she was saying, and it kills these devils when we separate ourselves from them. Just like I've told my mother before, I said the worst thing, and even MLK said it himself, he said he felt like he was integrating his people into a burning building. And that's exactly what it was. When we are away from these devils, we thrive. But when we're with them, they always make it a way that they can be on top and everybody be under them. Because when we had our own towns, cities, and what have you, Jake was doing way better than these devils. And their jealousy, their envy, their inferiority takes over them, and they find any reason to come in and completely destroy everything that Jake got going on, because they were blessed with the sword. Right? You read Genesis, the 27th chapter. Esau was mad with his brother Jacob, and Isaac was on his deathbed, and Isaac was passing out the blessings, and Esau got the blessing of the sword and the fatness of the earth. And that's exactly where we are right now. And these devils use that sword religiously, man, on the left-hand side, man. So continuing on.
Each one of those things that people think regarding other races are different with black people, I think. Because again, we don't like black people to be educated. We don't like them to be successful. We don't want black judges. We don't want anything for black people that doesn't directly affect and entertain us.
And that's, let's get this. Because her statement her tongue falling on herself proves that they're truly inferior. Because if a nation of people that are superior aren't going to worry about the peasants, the help, right? The scriptures speak about how's it go? Salakia. There's another one I'm thinking about, but let's get that real quick so I don't forget. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, I believe it's 12 and 8, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. Is it 11? Maybe it's 11. 11 and 8? 12? Salakia. Let's try to find it. Let's do this. 10. All right. Salakia. 10 and 7. Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. I have seen servants upon horses, right? As we read in Genesis, the eldest shall serve the younger. The eldest, the first came out, was Esau. He's the servant, right? It says, I have seen servants upon horses. A horse represents power. Just like you have cars, you got horsepower, right? And princes, right? Yasharallah, right? The princes of the power, walking as servants upon the earth. And just like the image of the statue, was it Roosevelt? I believe it was him. Statue. Yep. So look at this, Israel. So you have seen servants, right? This goofy ass Edomite, right? On horses, horse representing power, and the princes of the earth. You got, looks like a Gadite, right? Northern Kingdom, representing Northern Kingdom. And then you got the Southern Kingdom, which you would say a so-called black man, right? Walking as servants upon the earth, man. So that's what's going on. So these devils know in their spirit that they're not it. That's why they can't, that's why they can't control themselves when they get around Jake, because it reminds them of how inferior they are, man. So this is the definition for inferior. Inferior is an adjective that generally describes something lower in quality, rank, or position compared to something else, man. It says it can be used to denote that a person or item is substandard, of lower social or professional status, or situated physically beneath another point, right? So Jake's presence reminds them that they're beneath us, man. Deuteronomy 6 and 7. Let's get that before we go back to the video. Is it 6 and 7? Oh, Salakia. 7 and 6, I think it is. Let's try that. Yep, 7 and 6. Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art who? Israel. Art an holy people unto the Lord Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, thy power. The Lord Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, thy power, have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So our mere presence around these devils reminds them that they're beneath us, man. This is Job 30, and I'll start at 4. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots by for their meat. And this is talking about the Edomites, and it's going to go into that. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, right? Because that's just how their nature is. They're the vilest of the earth, man, as the scriptures, say. To dwell in the clefts of the valleys and caves of the earth and in the rocks. Caucasian literally means cave dweller, man. Their name is condemning to themselves, man. That's another way that their tongue is falling upon themselves, man. So I thought I put this on. Yeah, so they're literally cave dwellers, man. And it says, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. So they were grunting. Look at this. Let me read it in the NLT. It says in the 7th verse, they sound like animals howling among the bushes, huddled together beneath the nettles, man. That's exactly how these devils are, man. When they get together, they do howl and shit. Actually, they you see the Edomite college kids smash a damn beer bottle on their head, drink it from the side instead of just cracking it open. Like, I don't understand why you even do that. Stupid. But it just shows you how low level these devils really are, man. And they get all butthurt when Jake gets around, because Jake, our mere presence reminds them of how animalistic that they truly are. I mean, they sleep with animals, right? That's why what it says up here, that he wouldn't even allow them to be around the dogs of his flock, man. Why? Because they would lay with him. They do it now. 8th verse. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. What's this word say? Viler. It's definition for viler. To strike, scourge, smite. Viler. Let me see. Let me just look it up. What does vile mean? Vile. Definition. To be vile is an adjective that describes something or someone morally despicable, extremely offensive, or repulsive, man. It can refer to actions that are wicked. Who goes around calling this, especially here in Massachusetts? That's their word. Wicked awesome, wicked cool. Wicked, you go to stores, wicked coffee, and just fucking goofy shit. But that's the devil, man. That's their own tongue falling upon themselves, and that's the Lord revealing who they are. It says it can refer to actions that are wicked, or to physical things that cause strong feelings of disgust, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. These devils, especially when they're in their comfort zone and they're talking amongst themselves, and just like even Dave Chappelle said, he's doing some borderline gay shit. Like, Chad's over there sleeping. Why don't we go stick a carrot up his ass? Like, who the fuck does that? That's fucking vile behavior, man. No nation of men will be conducting themselves like that. But once again, their own history is revealing them, because that is Jake. A lot of people talk about how these so-called white people don't have no culture. They do have a culture. Their culture is being moles, being rape, robbery, and murder, bestiality, taking lands by violence, by force, lying. That's their culture, from the Greeks to the Romans, right? Until now, the revised Roman Empire, America, in this beast system. A lot of Jake's been speaking about, with the whole thing with France. I mean, not France, Spain and Argentina, and a lot of people didn't want Argentina to win the World Cup. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of Spaniards are in Spain, a lot of Edomites, right? Obviously, there's going to be our people are scattered amongst all the nations, right? So there's going to be Jakes over there, and the same thing is in Argentina. But from my understanding, that I'm learning about, and it makes sense, because you look at the history, Esau has spread his seed amongst them Argentinian women over there too. So you're going to have a lot of people who appear to be Jakes that are actually tares, man. And it's like a whole lot of racism that goes on over there in Argentina and all that. So, the Lord is revealing all of this right before our very eyes, man. So let's finish off in this video. I don't want to make this too long. Hopefully it doesn't act up.
I hear you. I just, and you pass it down. I think about all those sweet children that have been killed, murdered, when they go out with their white friends. And I think that as much as the trauma of slavery comes down through the DNA, I think also the cruelty of slavery.
Their anger. Let me get that. Salakia. No, scripture's just coming to me. But she's speaking. Perpetually, because that's why that enmity perpetually. There we go. Because the animosity is very prevalent, because how she's describing it. Yeah, Esau's anger soaked into his loins, man. And the same thing with as King David said, shall not I hate them with a perfect hatred, O Lord? Right? And King David is an Israelite. So that when you see these videos of these Israelites going ham on an Edomite, because the Edomite then called him, the N-word or something like that, or whatever, just blatantly disrespected him. That's where it's all stemming from Cain and Abel, man. Because Cain's spirit, right, that wicked spirit went into Esau, man. And then the children of Israel came from Abel, and it went all the way down into Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. The righteous seed. This is Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, for 3 transgressions of Edom, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, self-proclaimed white man, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, right? He was blessed with the sword, and did cast off all pity, right? As the scriptures say, he shall receive no mercy, which have shown no mercy, man. These devils don't show no mercy to Israelites, man, at all. That's why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy. For like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. Though he hide it under his tongue, beware of him. Though he might not say it, he might speak those smooth words, right? As the scriptures say. But just remember, war is in his heart. This devil has shown you, as they say in the world, if somebody shows you who they are, believe them, man. These devils have shown you Jakes who they are, and you simple as Jakes, not you sincere brothers and sisters, but a lot of these simple as Jakes, man, especially in the Christian church, man, they still are saying the same stupid shit about all of us coming together and all of us being under the banner of love and this, that, and we shall overcome and all this bullshit. And Esau is just doing the most evil shit to our people on a regular. And then sweeping it under the rug. And then Jake just goes on about their business and, oh, we shall overcome. Like, yo, man, fuck that, man. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is going to raise up to the prey, man. We're out here, the men of the Lord, to tell our people who the enemy is, man. And this devil is not going to let up. Matter of fact, as we're speaking now, this devil is poisoning us to this very day. Plotting and scheming. The scriptures say he loses sleep unless he causes something to fall. This devil the Lord is going to have to remove this devil in order for righteousness to dwell on the earth, man. Point blank, period, man. There's no other way. He is the cancer of the earth, man. And these devils show it all the time. That's why the Lord is saying this. Because he did pursue his brother with the sword and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. That's pretty much the point. Just to get back to the video. But he kept his wrath forever, man. As the scriptures say, since Esau didn't hate blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? So these devils, they know something's coming to them. So you got the devils that are just going to come after Jake. And then you got the devils like I perceive this woman is about to go into, who shall seek to please the poor. Who's the poor? You Israelites, man. Let's go back.
I hear you. I think when you do something like that for long enough and you pass it down for the many years that slavery and enslaved people were in chains, that is an instinct with us, cruelty. And I think you can see it in many videos. All the white women and white men that are telling black kids and black families to get the hell out of here, you don't belong. We just don't want you to have more than us, honey. We just don't want you to be prettier. We don't want you to be the beauty standard. We don't want you to be judges or anything like that. We want you to be below us, beneath us. And we've tried so hard to keep you down, and we failed so badly. Because like Maya Angelou said, still you rise. We may hate you, we may beat you, we may do those things, and it makes us crazy that you keep coming back and getting better.
This is why the scriptures are so beautiful, because what was Pharaoh doing in ancient Egypt? He kept trying to, just beat Israel down, and they kept flourishing, like not flourishing, but coming back and still, being strong. And this is exactly, here we are in spiritual Egypt, right? All you got to do is look on the back of the dollar bill, spiritual Sodom in Egypt. I don't got to explain Sodom. You know, all this freakism that goes on in this place, you know. But here we are, we got the modern day Pharaoh, you know, DJ Nero Trump, you know, and he's all against you tribes, man, openly. Don't even give a shit. And these other Edomites are just following right along, and you know, as long as Lyndon B. Johnson said, as long as you give these white people somebody to look down on, you could take their money out of their pockets, roughly paraphrasing, man. That's how inferior these people truly are, man. They need somebody to look down on. Jake, we don't operate like that, man. We could realize that we're great within ourselves because we are great. Because the Lord created us to be that way. But that's not these people are trying to prove to themselves that they're superior when in actuality, in their spirit and deep down in their minds, they know that they're inferior. Like I always mention cars. I love cars. These devils come up as a Corolla with cloth seats, 95 Corolla or some shit. You roll up the windows, no sunroof, no AC, and they come up to a Jake, which is the equivalent of a Rolls Royce with all the trimmings, man, all the bells and whistles, man. There's no comparison. So when they come around Jake, they already feel inferior because they know in their spirit that they are inferior, man. And that's why they hate us, because they ain't us, man.
I think when you do something like that for long enough and you pass it down for the many years that slavery and enslaved people were in chains, that is an instinct with us, cruelty. And I think you can see it in many videos. All the white women and white men that are telling black kids and black families to get the hell out of here, you don't belong. We just don't want you to have more than us, honey. We just don't want you to be prettier. We don't want you to be the beauty standard. We don't want you to be judges or anything like that. We want you to be below us, beneath us. And we've tried so hard to keep you down, and we failed so badly. Because like Maya Angelou said, still you rise. We may hate you, we may beat you, we may do those things, and it makes us crazy that you keep coming back and getting better. We can't stand it. I don't know why that is. I think I heard somebody say that white people are the ones that have the ancestors that were closely related to the apes. And I believe that.
Bingo.
We are.
They're not, let me not say it, just for any new listeners. There's no ape flesh, or it's all different flesh. Humans are humans, apes are apes, and so on and so forth. There's none of that weirdo behavior. But if you're going to talk about in a metaphorical sense, the closest to an animal, it would be you so-called white people. I'll say it that way.
So similar to Cro-Magnon man, Neanderthals, we're
exactly cave dwellers,
fucking pale monsters.
Yep. Yep. And you know, I don't have to keep going with that. So let's end off on this, because there's a judgment coming for you devils. Contrary to popular belief, you're not going to be able to touch the apple of the Lord's eye, and skip off into the sunset like nothing happened, you know? Oh, so like it's 13. It's 13. Is it 13? So let's just grab it. Salakia. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, Salakia. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? You devils led the Israelites into captivity. Well, the scriptures say that you're going into captivity. So you can spare us all that, white guilt, white, so-called white tears, and all that shit you talking. You still gonna have to go into captivity, man. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Right? He that liveth by the sword shall perish by the sword, right? Everybody knows that saying. And you devils ain't special, clearly. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Call Allah Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham.
I hear you.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me his truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing his word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say Shalom. Abba Babal, Abad Esau Edom, and Kwam Yasharallah. Hey, Shalom. To the next one.